it shows that if you don't keep practicing the right kind of approach, there may be chances that your personality can go down at any point of a time. So you should know that values of a person plays a major role. Your value should always be strong. When we say practicing, you take more time to understand the picture. There is no time limit you can keep when you are practicing at home. Initially, when you are practicing, getting stories in 4 minutes is not an easy task. But rather worrying about that 4 minutes time, you keep the clock aside. अब अपना घड़ी दूर रख के सिर्फ आपको फोकस करना है ये आइडिया कैसे लाना है. And once you started getting ideas, let me tell you, getting them in 4 minutes should not be a major problem. Please talk to experts.
Okay.
Find out where you are going wrong.
Yes.
Otherwise, if you don't know where you are going wrong and whatever the efforts that you put, it's still going to get you no results. So you will be wasting your energy, you will be wasting your time. Like here, we know the importance of time. It's very important. Every attempt you give, with every attempt, you are becoming more number of repeater. The more the number of repetition you give, the lesser chances of getting screened in as well as conference doubt becomes. We know the reality, what happens. So rather wasting time, it's always better to consult with experts and find out what exactly the mistake you have done.
जय हिंद, वंदे मातरम एंड भारत माता की जय. स्वागत है आपको ऑन द फौजी शो. टुडे वी हैव विद अस वेरी स्पेशल गेस्ट अशोक सर. फॉर दोज हु डोंट नो, वैसे सभी को पता है बिकॉज इनकी काफी वीडियोस आपको यूट्यूब पे मिल जाएंगी. सर इज एन एलुमनस ऑफ DIPR and has served in Bhopal board for 6 years, and abhi he is presently a psychologist in अफ्पा दैट इज इन नागपुर. और सबको पता है कि वो कितने बेहतरीन रिजल्ट्स देते हैं. प्लस वहां से जो भी बच्चा आता है, आई हैव नेवर सीन हिम क्रिविंग कि आई एम ही इज नॉट या ही शी इज नॉट सेटिस्फाइड. So do check them out. They are doing some fantabulous work in Nagpur. Their link and all the details are in description. Moving on to the video, thank you so much, sir, for accepting my invitation. It's an honor and a privilege to host you on our platform. मेरा बहुत महीनों से मन था कि आप आए हैं, लेकिन कुछ ना कुछ डेवलपमेंट हो रही थी एंड यू आर नॉट एबल टू रिकॉर्ड. सो आप यहाँ पे आए. आई एम श्योर एस्पिरेंट्स विल गेट अ अपॉर्चुनिटी बिकॉज रिकमेंडेड कैंडिडेट सर आकर अपना पर्सपेक्टिव देते हैं कि हाउ दे हैव गॉट रिकमेंडेड, लेकिन एक सेसरी बता सकता है कि व्हाट इट रियली टेक्स टू गेट रिकमेंडेड. सो सर, थैंक यू सो मच. एंड सर, मैं प्लीज रिक्वेस्ट कि आप अपने बारे में थोड़ा ऑडियंस को, इफ यू कैन टेल, एंड हाउ यू गॉट इनटू दिस, एंड आपका क्या बैकग्राउंड है सर?
See, my background, basically, I did my graduation and post-graduation in psychology. After completing my post-graduation, I applied for DRDO and I got into DIPR. And from there, we are posted to selection centers as a psychologist.
Okay.
So that's how it gone. And I have served for 6 years. And since 2012, when I left DIPR, so I'm into training for almost like the past 13 years, I would say.
Okay,
And out
great.
of
And
which
sir,
the last 7 years I'm with AFPA.
okay, great. And sir, you belong to which place?
I belong to Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu.
Okay, sir. Vanakkam, sir.
Vanakkam.
I have done some part of my schooling in APS Wellington. I have very fond memories of Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
So, sir, moving on to the SSB part, जहाँ पे सबसे ज़्यादा लोगों को दिक्कत आती है स्क्रीनिंग. Some people say कि luck based है काफी, या some people say कि narration ही important है. Some people say कि OIR, अगर you are in OIR 1 या 2, तो you just need one assessor to recommend your name. So sir, if you can elaborate on this part, कि how can someone improve their chances to get screened in?
Okay, so first of all, in the entire SSB process, stage one is always considered as a highly unpredictable process.
Okay, sir.
So nobody can predict your result that you will be definitely going to get screened. और हमने भी आपका में भी बहुत बच्चे देखे थे जिनको हम पता है कि ये बच्चा अच्छा कर लेगा साइक टेस्ट में, GTO में, इंटरव्यू में, बट साथ में हम ये भी बोलते हैं कि बेटा मोर इम्पोर्टेंट यू शुड गेट स्क्रीन इन, क्योंकि स्क्रीन इन का कोई आपका कोई गारंटी दे नहीं सकता. For a simple reason, the way we think about PPNDT consists of four important elements. जैसे हम बोलते हैं कि पिक्चर का ऑब्जर्वेशन करना है, and then you are writing a story. After that, how you narrate the story, and finally followed by the group discussion. Now, those candidates who balance all the four tasks, there is always a bright chance of getting screened in. And sometimes what happens, you are good in one element और किसी एलिमेंट में आपके परफॉर्मेंस बहुत कमजोरी हो गया, then there is always a chance of getting screened out. So it has to be overall development done as far as PPNDT is concerned. तो आपको पिक्चर को अच्छे से ऑब्जर्व करना है, and you have to write a story based on what is there in the picture. And then most importantly, you have to narrate the stories well. And then discussion, of course, it depends on the type of group you'll be getting. So that is one thing which nobody can predict, what type of people you are going to get in your group.
Sir, let's say you are a candidate, आप एक aspirant है. Hypothetical situation, sir. And if you have to approach story writing, you are in that SSB hall and आपको एक picture दिखाई जाती है. So how would you go about writing that story?
Okay, so if you put me in that situation, so the first thing we will always do is see what are the elements are shown in the picture, like observation of details, even the minor details. Sometimes it makes a lot of difference. And thereafter, we try to connect the stories based on what experience we have. That's what normally people do. But then what they forget is, like I'm talking about majority of the candidates, we have to just follow the instruction given by the psychologist at that point of a time. I'm sure everybody been to SSB, they all know the instructions. The very first instruction says clearly all the psychological tests are based on imagination. And in none of the place the concept of PIQ is mentioned in psychological test. But unfortunately, what happened, most of the candidates, when they write the story, they try to see what they have experienced in their life. And because of that, their ideas get limited. That's what you all have. Everybody cannot have experience in everything.
Sir, PIQ या OLQ?
I'm talking about PIQ.
Okay.
So far, we have not spoken anything about OLQ, but what I'm telling is, if you try to connect the story, everything from your PIQ,
अच्छा, okay,
you
got
may
it.
not be able to write better stories. Obviously, PIQ, everybody is different.
Okay. And sir, ये थोड़ा OLQs को if you can expand कि how should one go about it? Because आजकल I have seen candidate बहुत overthink करते हैं कि मैं ये 16 OLQ जो मैं पढ़ के आया हूँ मैं इसको किसी तरह डिस्प्ले कर दूं एंड जबरदस्ती वो प्रॉब्लम्स क्रिएट करना और वो उसका सोल्यूशन लिखना, क्या इज दैट रिक्वायर्ड, या इवन अ सिंपल स्टोरी इन विच द हीरो या हीरोइन जो लीड रोल है जिसका, वो इफ they are doing some action, that is also acceptable?
Okay, first of all, when we talk about OLQs, like we know there are 15 OLQs are there. Out of the 15 OLQs, certain OLQs are considered to be most important OLQs. Of course, all 15 of them are important, but then there are certain qualities cannot be trained over a period of time. Unfortunately, what happened, when you are writing a story, if you keep thinking about OLQ, then you may not be able to focus on the story you are writing. As a psychologist, what I always advise, आपको बस दो चीज पे फोकस करना, एक है आपके आइडिया अच्छे होने चाहिए, and you should have sufficient action to support what idea you are going to write. Now, based on the action, क्या OLQ चाहिए वो तो असेसर का काम है, वो ढूंढ लेंगे. हम डायरेक्टली किसी OLQ से लिखने से हमारा OLQ नहीं दिखता. So it is better always to focus more on the action rather than worrying too much about the OLQs.
Okay. Sir, character building, personality development, how can an aspirant work on these things?
There are four important elements. One is you should have sufficient knowledge. Then you should be able to communicate properly. If you have knowledge and if you can communicate properly, obviously the third element, that is your confidence, will always be better. But in spite of having all these three elements, still there are many candidates, they miss out in the SSB. because they lack the fourth element, which I would personally feel is more important in any personality point of view, is that you should have a common sense. So whatever the knowledge you have, whatever you can communicate, and whatever confidence you have, are you putting it in the right direction at the right place? And anything spoken in a wrong place will not help you much. So these four things, if you develop well, right from the childhood, that's what the training is supposed to be. So that can help you to get through the SSB comfortably, and not just comfortably, as well as you will be of a know that you should never worry about your merit list. That's another problem that many candidates face. You must have seen.
Yes, sir. सर पर्सनैलिटी इज समथिंग विच इज वेरी डायनेमिक.
Yeah.
मतलब जैसे मैं 12th में था, बड़ा इमेच्योर इररिस्पॉन्सिबल था. फिर मैं कॉलेज गया तो मेरे में थोड़ा इम्प्रूवमेंट आया. फिर मैं लकीली रिकमेंड हो गया. फिर मैं एनडीए गया तो मैं थोड़ा बदमाश हो गया, बट ज़्यादा रिस्पॉन्सिबल, और आई वुड से थोड़ा मेच्योरिटी भी बढ़ी मुझ में. तो मतलब मैंने अपने अंदर ही इतने चेंजेस देखे इतने साल में. सो जब एक कैंडिडेट को असेस कर रहे हैं असेसर, सो उनको क्या, उनको उनके बैक ऑफ द माइंड में नहीं होता है कि क्या पता ये बाद में बिगड़ जाए, या बाद में इसका ये फैक्टर खराब हो जाए, या कुछ ऐसा लाइफ एक्सपीरियंस हो. सो उस सिनेरियो को कैसे डील करते हैं आप लोग?
Okay, I'll give you a classic example. When I was in Bhopal, we had candidate coming from NDA. So there were candidates earlier. They were permitted to appear for 10 plus 2 tech entry even when they were in NDA cadet. So a candidate cleared by assessors was getting trained at NDA when he had come for the 10 plus 2 tech entry. He had scored very poor in all the three tests. It shows that if you don't keep practicing the right kind of approach, there may be chances that your personality can go down at any point of a time. So you should know that values of a person plays a major role. Your value should always be strong.
ओके सर, स्क्रीनिंग में रिटन एंट्री वर्सेस नॉन रिटन एंट्री कितना फर्क पड़ जाता है, एंड व्हाट इज द ऑन ग्राउंड रियलिटी? ऐसा क्यों होता है कि एक एस्पिरेंट जो एआईआर 1 रह चुका है वो हो सकता है फिर से स्क्रीन आउट ही हो जाए. सो कैन यू इलैबोरेट ऑन दैट एस्पेक्ट?
Okay, first of all, when we talk about the even the previously recommended candidate getting screened out, that is purely based on the present performance. Once you are getting recommended, doesn't mean that next time you will definitely get screened in. Sometime the candidates become overconfident, उसके वजह से उनका screen out हो जाता. But then, as far as the other question is concerned, like why people are finding it difficult to clear SSB, why they are not able to show their qualities well, that is the area they need to focus. You may have qualities, but when you are going to the SSB, how you project it, that's what the assessor will take it. If you have qualities, but if you don't know how to project them, so ultimately you are assessed based on what you are projected, what you are projecting. So if the projection is wrong, though, ultimately the assessment will always go against you.
ओके. एंड सर, आई हैव सीन काफी कैंडिडेट्स ऐसे होते हैं हु हैव दोस क्वालिटीज, या ऐसा लगता है एटलीस्ट, बट दे डोंट हैव द कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स टू एक्सप्रेस and showcase themselves to the best of their abilities. So, do you think such tests should also be, I would say, mother tongue में होने चाहिए, या let's say हिंदी में होने चाहिए, so that people can express themselves to the best of their capabilities? Yeah. Why is this test specifically in English itself?
Okay, there are various reasons. First of all, like even I'm studied in a Tamil medium. I'm a Tamil medium student. Throughout my school, I've done in only in Tamil.
Okay.
Only medium when I changed when I was in my college. So this problem most of us face. Even in real SSB, when the assessors say they never stress too much on the communication skill, they tell you be confident in what you speak and you be more comfortable in speaking. There is one OLQ, we call it power of expression, and people go through all the definitions of the OLQs. So if you go through the definition of power of expression, it shows very clearly it is your ability to put across yourself, your ideas with ease and clarity. So you should speak exactly what you want to speak. At the same time, आपको भी comfort होना चाहिए, सुनने वालों को भी comfort होना चाहिए. So nobody says that you should write the best of the English you can. No.
You should be able to express your thoughts. Bare minimum उतना होना चाहिए, basically. Okay. Sir, इतने साल, इतने dossiers and इतने candidates you have trained. Any candidate जिसका कोई story या कुछ dossier left a lasting impression, some impressive या कोई funny candidate, if you can share, sir.
Plenty of experiences. After a period of time, we keep counting on what is happening, what is not happening, all those things. But of course, one of the candidate whom I had rated or I had given the maximum marks would always, I remember that candidates, the best candidates. Like out of the 225 marks, I had awarded 150 marks to a candidate.
Mhm.
One candidate. And there were times we give 120, 125, 130 marks. But you know that even scoring 90 marks itself is a difficult task. But these candidates have managed. So somewhere the way they narrated the stories with all the ideas and sufficient action they had put up, so that creates an impression in the mind of the assessor. Okay, this candidate is capable of going beyond a certain limit. And no assessor would restrict a candidate to a particular limit. Remember, we also feel happy if we can give more marks to a candidate. Like the most of the time, one of the complaint that people tell me, so the SSBs are there to reject candidates. आपने भी सुना होगा बहुत.
Yes, sir.
हम जानबूझ के किसी को रिजेक्ट नहीं करते. You have to prove yourself. In fact, that the day we give more marks to candidates, the day we clear more candidates, every assessor feels happy.
True. Plus, sir, SSB का full form is Service Selection Board है ना कि Rejection Board. That is there, sir. Sir, any funny story which you might have read and you have felt ki I am stuck?
There are plenty of funny stories we can talk about, isn't it? Like, there are candidates who get misguided. And when they go to SSB, they don't exactly what they are doing. वो कुछ तो लिख देते हैं. For example, there is somebody standing in front of you with a knife. A picture is shown. Now, I cannot say that he brought a knife, because he was cutting vegetables in the kitchen. And somebody called him, he just came out with a knife in his hand. Isn't it? अब वो थोड़ा अजीब सा लगेगा. So why would somebody bring a knife from the kitchen all of a sudden?
True. सर, between आपने काफी dossiers देखे होंगे boys के भी and girls के भी. What is the difference you find when you are seeing their dossiers? And is like I've seen somehow girls are better at SSB. I don't know why. I think maybe I'm biased, but what are your views on it?
Okay, see, first of all, with age, what happens? We are supposed to be more mature. And there is, without any doubt, women are always mature than men. There is no doubt about it. But when in the SSB, the type of images given to male candidates and the images given to female candidates are entirely different. You must have seen in women oriented pictures, mostly emotion related stories are shown or emotion related pictures. Whereas in case of male candidates, it's a more of a dynamic pictures are shown. So how consistently you handle between a dynamic situation and simple situation, that is what a male candidate is put to. But whereas a female candidate, they are put in a situation where how effectively they manage relationship, emotions. And we all know that they are, most of the time, they are better in managing emotions. And that is the reason they score better marks in the SSBs compared to men.
Okay. Uh, एक second, sir. Sir, let's say कि someone sees this video and coincidentally they have their SSB in a couple of months.
Mhm.
Apart from going to AFPA and preparing under your guidance, what can the candidate do to prepare for at least the psych part of the things? Should he or she practice? Yeah, they should focus on their personality. How should one go about it?
Okay, so first thing they should do is you should know what exactly the requirement of the SSB. Of course, they can watch videos, they can read internet, anything. They have to get to know what exactly is expected. One thing. Secondly, you need to develop sufficient knowledge. Now, when we talk about knowledge here, it is not just having a general knowledge, it is about knowledge related to various professions. Otherwise, one of the common mistake आपने भी देखा होगा, most of the time students try to connect stories based on school and college life. And you are coming for a professional job, no, it's a professional interview, you are coming for a job interview, SSB. And you should show the assessor that how you are capable of making yourself useful to the organization. So if you keep connecting stories only with schools and colleges, it will show limited knowledge and limited imagination. So the second thing they should develop is more knowledge about profession. And then whatever you are writing, you should be clear that you are writing specific task according to the age and profession of the characters you have taken. And then you have to keep practicing. So when we say practicing, you take more time to understand the picture. There is no time limit you can keep when you are practicing at home. Initially, when you are practicing, getting stories in 4 minutes is not an easy task. But rather worrying about that 4 minutes time, you keep the clock aside. अब अपना घड़ी दूर रख के सिर्फ आपको फोकस करना है ये आइडिया कैसे लाना. And once you started getting ideas, let me tell you, getting them in 4 minutes should not be a major problem.
Okay. Sir, recently one of the candidates who had come on the channel, so he had shared that he was called by the psych before the conference. And that is somewhere around GTO wale din sham ko he was called, and he had given he was asking some questions, some SRTs personally, and I don't know why, and I've never heard of this. So ऐसा कब होता है sir? Like I've always heard कि psych पीछे like he never meets the candidate. So ऐसा कब होता है?
There is one condition, what we call it conduct of inquiry. Now, this is done by a psychologist when he has got some doubts about a candidate which is not getting clarified. Now, from his own technique, like when I'm seeing the dossier, I found certain things are missing. So how do I assess a person when he has not written something on the paper? Though you got screened in, but in the psychological test, some of your stories were blank, and some of the WATs were blank, and SRTs you have not written much. So in such cases, the assessor calls the candidate to ask him what exactly happened during the time of a testing and give him one more opportunity to come out with his ideas freely. Because by the time now he has got, after the psych test, he has done GTO task, he has done the interview. After doing all this thing, the candidate is more comfortable now. At least let him come with some kind of ideas, that can be used during the conference.
And sir, this will only happen if if the assessor sees some potential in the candidate. It is not in all the cases, right?
Not in all the cases. I won't even say potential. It happens in the place where a candidate gives a lot of question to the assessor in terms of leaving too many blanks or contradicting the statements that he has already written in somewhere or the other. Like you have written
Okay.
something in TAT and the same thing you keep contradicting in various places. So we cannot decide which one actually you are capable of doing.
Okay. So two perfect answers के लिए भी बुला सकते हैं sir, just to see कि
No, two perfect answers cannot be exactly like that. That
okay,
that itself shows the consistency, isn't it?
sir. Sir, what is the ideal amount of SRTs that one should attempt in those 30 minutes? Because कुछ लोग बोलते हैं कि क्वालिटी लिखो लेकिन 30 लिखो काफी हो, कुछ लिखो कि सारे करने what is the reality?
देखो, जैसे हम हमेशा बोलते हैं कि एंटायर साइकोलॉजिकल टेस्ट टीएटी इज कंसिडर्ड एज अ बेसिक टेस्ट, जिसमें से लगभग आपका 60% का असेसमेंट हो जाता। Now remaining 20% with WAT and another 20% with SRT. So that means by the time the assessor comes to SRT, आपके 80% assessment हो चुका। Now the 20% can help you to score more marks, provided your TAT and WAT were better. अगर आपकी TAT WAT खराब है, अब SRT जितना अच्छा भी लिखो उससे आपको कोई फायदा नहीं मिलेगा। एंड मोर ओवर, जो भी आपको एक्सप्लेन करना है आपने क्लियरली टीएटी में एक्सप्लेन कर चुके। अब एसआरटी में जाके वही यू टू एक्सप्लेन टू मच। सो हियर बैलेंसिंग क्वालिटी एंड क्वांटिटी इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट। क्वांटिटी थोड़ा कम रहेगा। फॉर एग्जांपल सर, somebody, some candidate has attempted 40 45 SRTs. Okay, we say fine, 40 45 is a decent number. But what about quality? Sir, qualities are sufficient.
Sir, what do you mean by quality? Is it like writing in detail, writing the answer in detail?
Again, you see, TAT is a solution based test and SRT is a reaction based test. In TAT, you give a complete solution to a problem, but in SRT, you just write minimum reactions. If you try to conclude the SRTs, then obviously, you will be wasting your time, and maximum you can do, say, 25, 30, not more than that.
Okay. सर ब्लैंक स्टोरी का मैं आपसे पूछना भूल गया, सॉरी। ब्लैंक स्टोरी के लिए व्हाट शुड बी द अप्रोच? वन शुड शेयर देयर ओन एक्सपीरियंसेस या दे कैन concoct a whole new story?
But there are three things one can keep in mind. सबसे पहले, ब्लैंक पिक्चर का मतलब ये है कि you haven't seen anything in the screen. It's entirely blank. So you cannot write something negative, even it has happened in your life. Some people tend to do that. सर ये मेरे साथ हुआ, मेरे लाइफ में मैंने लिखा। अब सभी के साथ लाइफ में नेगेटिव चीज होता है, बट देन what from the picture made you think about that negative at that point of a time? So that itself is a big mistake people commit, writing negativity for a blank picture. Secondly, there are many positive achievements happened in our life. At least we can put them on the paper. And when we are putting on a paper, why we have to be so inhibitive that सर मैंने जो काम +2 में किया था कॉलेज में मैं कर नहीं पाया। Now should I write something based on my +2 or should I write something based on my college? Now this is one of the common problem or common doubt that most of the graduates have. तो जो स्कूल तक हो गया, अब उसके पास आपको नहीं जाना, बिकॉज लास्ट 3-4 years in your college you gained so much of experience. So put the present related story more in the blank picture. So any positive story would be acceptable. अगर आपको लाइफ के साथ नहीं कनेक्ट करना, सर आई डोंट वांट टू कनेक्ट इट विद माय PIQ, you want to write purely based on your imagination, any imaginary story is also acceptable for the blank picture.
Okay. And sir, do you see the PIQs as well?
Of course we see the PIQ.
Okay. And do you try to what is the like deduction out of it? उससे आप लोग क्या करते हैं, मतलब उसका यूज क्या है?
There are two things. One is we talk about self description. Because we are talking about PIQ, I have to tell you something about self description. Self description is the only test where the candidates write about their qualities directly. Sir, people tell me I'm like this, isn't it?
Sir.
उससे क्या पता चलेगा आप दूसरों के साथ कितने इंटरेक्ट करते हो। अगर आप बाकी लोगों के साथ अच्छे इंटरेक्ट करते तो यू कैन राइट मोर डिटेल्स इन एसडी। एंड आई हैव सीन पीपल हु डोंट राइट मच अबाउट एसडी। वो खुद बोलते कि सर मैं अभी तक किसी से कुछ फीडबैक लिया नहीं कभी। दिस इज कॉल्ड इनसाइट। हाउ मच यू अंडरस्टैंड अबाउट योर सेल्फ, दैट कम्स आउट फ्रॉम दी सेल्फ डिस्क्रिप्शन। सिमिलर वे, हाउ मच यू वांट टू इंप्रूव योर सेल्फ, दैट ऑल्सो कम्स फ्रॉम दी सेल्फ डिस्क्रिप्शन। क्योंकि आपके जो लास्ट पैराग्राफ में लिखते हैं व्हाट काइंड ऑफ अ पर्सन यू वांट टू बी। नाउ वहां पर हम ये लिखते हैं कि सर मैं अपने फ्यूचर में ये सब करना चाहता हूं। उससे असेसर को ये पता चलेगा कि ये बंदा अपने आप को इम्प्रूव करने के लिए कितना मोटिवेटेड रहा. Now, when we talk about PIQ in connection with all this, PIQ gives us most valuable input about your background. Now, we all know that people come from different types of background, and background plays a major role in personality development. तो आपके बैकग्राउंड के अकॉर्डिंगली क्या आपकी पर्सनालिटी उतना मेच्योर्ड है? तो ऑब्वियसली अगर आपके लाइफ में एवरीथिंग यू कुड गेट इजीली, रिसोर्सेज का कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है आपके लाइफ में, then your personality would have been much developed. And somebody is coming from a poor background with all the problems he faced in life, so his performance, even if there is some minor mistakes, we can consider still he is much developed according to his background given. So what we call it concept of trainability. So एक कैंडिडेट को कितना ट्रेनेबल, कितना हम ट्रेनिंग करा सकते हैं, उसके डिसाइड करने के लिए पीएक्यू का जरूरत पड़ता.
ओके, ग्रेट. एंड सर, आपने सेल्फ डिस्क्रिप्शन की बात की है, सो आई जस्ट वांटेड टू कंफर्म वन थिंग. should a candidate himself herself write the negative aspects, yeah, they should just leave it to the assessor to find out?
There are two ways, whether you write it or not. In any case, we are going to find out in TAT, WAT, and SRT.
Yes, sir.
But then, having knowledge about your weakness is more important for you to develop yourself. अगर हम कुछ नहीं लिखेंगे, जो पैराग्राफ में नहीं लिखेंगे, जब पेरेंट्स के साइड में कोई कंप्लेंट नहीं है, टीचर के साइड में कोई कंप्लेंट नहीं है, फ्रेंड, सेल्फ ओपिनियन, एवरीवेयर यू प्रोजेक्ट योर सेल्फ एज अ परफेक्ट पर्सन विदाउट एनी मेजर प्रॉब्लम्स, देन व्हाट इज देयर टू इम्प्रूव? टेल. तो लास्ट पैराग्राफ में क्या लिखेंगे? ऑलरेडी आप तो सब बोल रहे कि आप अच्छे हो.
नहीं, लास्ट में लिख लिया लेट्स से, उसमें तो लिखना ही है, लेकिन लेट्स से पेरेंट्स, टीचर्स और फ्रेंड्स वाला जो सेक्शन है उसमें भी लिखना है या उसमें रहने दो, या
बेटा
पता नहीं
फीडबैक
सर.
फीडबैक तो हमेशा दो होता ना, पॉजिटिव एज वेल एज नेगेटिव. If you out of 10 people, if 8 people say you are good, 2 people will definitely say you are bad.
बट सर, डू यू थिंक वन शुड बी केयरफुल अबाउट राइटिंग इट? लाइक कुछ चीजें ऐसी होती हैं विच कैन पुट एन एडवर्स इफेक्ट, लाइक एंगर इश्यूज लिख दिया अगर किसी ने, लेट्स से. बट लेट्स से अगर कोई बोले कि हैंड राइटिंग है, तो लाइक टू डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ वीकनेसेस.
But then, how your handwriting decides your personality, tell me.
ये सर, बट नेगेटिव लिखना था तो लिख दिया उसमें. एंड एंगर इश्यूज तो नहीं लिख सकते बिकॉज वो थोड़ा ज्यादा ही आई थिंक सीरियस हो जाएगा. या
No,
व्हाट डू यू थिंक?
it depends on why that anger issue. So
ओके.
sometimes you have to justify why a particular quality is your strength and why it is a weakness. अगर आप किसी ने डायरेक्टली ये लिख दिया, सर माई पेरेंट्स से आई एम अ शॉर्ट टेम्पर्ड पर्सन, तो शॉर्ट टेम्पर्ड तो हम समझते हैं, जो बंदा हर चीज पे गुस्सा करता. बट गुस्सा तो होना चाहिए लाइफ में. जिस चीज के लिए गुस्सा होना, तो उस चीज के लिए गुस्सा होना है. So getting angry at a right time, though it is acceptable, but still it can cause you some troubles. इसलिए वो भी improve करना.
ओके सर. सर, ये एसएसबी मार्क्स का क्या चक्कर है? हाउ आर दी कैंडिडेट्स ग्रेडेड? एंड शुड वन थिंक अबाउट इट, या दे शुड जस्ट थिंक कि यार मैं परफॉर्म करूंगा टू द बेस्ट ऑफ माय एबिलिटीज एंड लेट्स लीव इट अप टू द असेसर्स?
Okay. First of all, the conversion of qualities, like what we are doing the personality assessment, it is a qualitative assessment. We have to convert from qualities into quantity. So that is a difficult task that the assessor will in any case do it because they are all trained people. हम अपने तरफ से बस इतना करेंगे कि wherever you are asked to perform well, आप अच्छा परफॉर्म करने की कोशिश करो. जितना अच्छा करोगे उतना आपका नंबर्स भी ज्यादा मिलेगा.
ओके. सर, जाने से पहले सर, कैन यू tell the candidates ki what are you doing currently and how can they reach out to you in case they want to get trained by you?
Okay, so I'm presently with AFPA at Nagpur. So we are doing offline classes. In addition to doing the offline classes, we also do online classes. We have something called online psych test mastery. In fact, it has been going for the last 6 years. And during COVID, it has helped lots of candidates because they couldn't get out of their house. तो हमने both online भी कर चुके हैं. So whatever they want to do, whether the offline or online, so everything is available in our AFPA website. They can just go to the website and see what they have to do.
So I will put the link in description along with all the details. So please check them out. Sir, before going last question, I'm sorry. Sir, what is your message to the aspirant out there who is putting in all the efforts, but he is getting out somewhere, be it written or be it screen out? He's getting screened out, yeah, conference out. What is your message to the aspirant out there?
My only message is please talk to experts.
Okay,
Find out where you are going wrong.
sir.
Otherwise, if you don't know where you are going wrong and whatever the efforts that you put, it's still going to get you no results. So you will be wasting your energy, you will be wasting your time. Like here, we know the importance of time. It's very important. Every attempt you give, with every attempt, you are becoming more number of repeater. The more the number of repetition you give, the lesser chances of getting screened in as well as conferenced out becomes. We know the reality, what happens. So rather wasting time, it's always better to consult with experts and find out what exactly the mistake you have done.
सर अभी आई एम सॉरी एक क्वेश्चन और आपने बात छेड़ी है तो मुझे याद है सर जब आप पीआईक्यू फॉर्म देखते हैं कैंडिडेट का एंड व्हेन यू सी द कैंडिडेट इज अ रिपीटर एंड ही हैज हैड दिस मच ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस सो is there any different expectation out of the candidate yeah it is the scale is the same for everyone.
Okay, first of all, we expect a repeater to write more better level of ideas.
Okay.
Secondly, रिपीटर मतलब रिपीटर को देखते ही मैं ये बोल नहीं सकता कि आई हैव टू बी मोर कॉशियस विद रिपीटर बिकॉज
Okay.
आई डोंट नो हाउ योर लास्ट टेस्ट वेंट. हो सकता है कि पिछले बार आपके साइक टेस्ट में क्लियर भी हो, मुझे कैसे पता.
Yeah.
तो आई विल फोकस ऑन दी प्रेजेंट टेस्ट. अब प्रेजेंट टेस्ट से मैं एक अंदाजा लगा सकता है कि पिछले टेस्ट में आपके परफॉर्मेंस कैसे हुआ था.
Right. ठीक है सर. On that note, thank you so much, sir. And to all our viewers, please like, share, subscribe. अपने दोस्तों के साथ सब्सक्राइब कीजिएगा ये वीडियो. अपने उसका शेयर कीजिएगा ये वीडियो एंड चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिएगा. And also do check out AFPA in Nagpur. They're doing some fantabulous work. The link and all the details are in description. Results का सबको पता है उनके. हमेशा they have the highest results in our country. So do check them out. Thank you so much. Take care and Jai Hind.